Shalom, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone for teaching this truth according to the Bible. Sincere shalom to all the fellow laborers who push this truth and believe this truth, as we are called to do so in the last days here in Babylon the Great. Today's video is just going to be a very basic video. Okay, going back to one of the, as a brother, one of the first things you learn, okay, when you come into the truth of remembering that you are an Israelite, okay, and then it's about your beard, your facial hair, all right. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I saw this short, and then I went to the comments reading what people were saying. And I'm gonna let this video play because this brother right here on the screen is apparently there's doing some sort of I guess cleaning, you could say, where they're removing like dead skin or debris from his beard or whatever with a machine. And you can see that this Jake right here, he has a what would be considered to be a patchy beard, okay. And, when you go to the comments, you can see that our people are worldly. And the main thing that I thought about was how our people really just don't know, the Lord, and they do not take delight in his law. Okay, so let's watch this video and then I'll pull up the scriptures and we're going to read some of the comments too. So let's go right here. That's insane. So you saw the video. All right, they're doing a cleaning on this brother's beard right here. And of course, yeah, he has a patchy beard. Not everybody, it actually, his beard looks like it's growing pretty well. A little bit of oil, maybe some derma roller, and he'll have a pretty full beard, But let's look at these comments, okay? Let's look at these comments, okay? Let's see right here. Okay, Chris Johnson, okay, says, bro, just cut the Anthony Hamilton beard. Okay, trying to make fun of the fact that his beard isn't full or whatever. If you look at his profile, okay, Chris Johnson, he has a full beard on his profile picture. But what I noticed is that his beard is lined up, okay? And that's kind of what the gist of this lesson will be on, is the law of the Lord is against that. Okay, technically, this brother right here in the video is actually keeping that commandment, okay, better than this Chris Johnson guy. Okay, I don't know if this is an Israelite or anything like that, but I'm not gonna assume. But the Lord does say we're not to cut our beards or to line them up. Okay, and we'll get that in the scriptures. Let's just keep reading, okay? Ambi Butter Yams, okay, a nigga woman, of course, says just walking around crusty. Eve has a lot to say, okay? But in Jacob's trouble, when the Lord takes away, like he says in Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, right? He's going to take away all the crisping things, right? Let's go over there real quick, just real quick. All right, let's go to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. All right, let's go all the way to the end. Isaiah 3 and 18, it says, in that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their twinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers and the bonnets and the ornaments of the leg, of legs and headbands and tablets and earrings and the rings and the nose jewels and the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crispin pins. It says the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. So it's always funny when a black woman, which that's not her real hair, okay, has something to say about a man that's all like, he doesn't have no makeup on, which that would be an abomination if he did. But Eve wears makeup to hide the fact that she's ugly. Okay, she puts on a wig to hide the fact that she's bald. She wears a girdle to hide the fact that she's out of shape. Okay, she puts on perfume to hide the fact that her box stinks. Okay, the black woman should be the last person talking, but since in America and Babylon the Great, they're so proud, right? They of course they're gonna say something. Right here, Twin Hussein Salah says, "Why keep all those unnecessary beard?" I think he says what meant to say, "Why keep that unnecessary beard?" Because the law requires it, and I can see in your profile picture that you are a bald-headed Jake. You shave your head. Okay, so this just goes into the fact that our people do not know the Lord. They don't know the Lord. They don't know the law. They hate the law of the Lord, and they're going to be destroyed, even for something as small as this, right? Leviticus 19:27. Ye shall not round the corners of your head. That's going into getting lined up, okay? Neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. So you're not supposed to get lined up on your head or on your beard. Okay, it's very simple. Okay, let's get another one. Leviticus 21:5 says, they shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. This is Leviticus, so it's the law. And these people do not delight in the law. Okay, what did the Lord say about people who despise the law? Okay, then shall they be in pitiful. Right here in 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 9, it says, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways. Okay, you're abusing the ways of the Lord, like this guy. It's like here, Twin Hussein Salah. Okay, you're bald-headed. Okay, you're abusing the ways of the Lord. All right, this guy Vaughn Terrell says, what beard? Well, these people are just clowning this Jake right here. But the law is clear. Okay, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. So you're going to dwell in torments in the time of Jacob's trouble, even for something as simple as this. Okay, the Lord said very clearly, you're not to mar around the corners of your beard, getting a line up on your beard. Now, are you allowed to trim your beard? Of course, you can trim your hairs. You can, pull. I think they call that in the scriptures. It's called pulling. Okay, you can trim your beard and your hair, but to put a line, get lined up, make a cut, because when you get a line up, you do make small cuttings in the flesh around the edge of your beard. Okay, that's why it's called a line. All right, and that's against the law. That's against the law of the Lord. But you're seeing just in the comments the carnality and the worldliness of Jake. Okay, Jake, this just goes to show you a little bit of the mindset behind, okay, these Israelites nowadays. Let's see if we can find another one. Bronson Bennett says, I just cut my beard off. Consider, brother. And he's telling you to sin. Okay, he's telling you to sin. Bronson Bennett just said to disobey this direct order. Okay, in the ancient world, it was a shame for a man to cut his beard or not have a beard. Okay, let's get this. 2 Samuel chapter 10 and verse 1. This is King David and his servants, right? It says, "And it came to pass after this that the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his stead. Then said David, I will show kindness unto Hanun the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness unto me. And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father. And David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon." Okay, the children of Ammon today would be your so-called Japanese people. Okay, this is back when they were in their original land. I believe that was in northern or central Jordan. Okay, right above Edom. All right, is where the children of Ammon were. All right, it says, "And the princes of the children of Ammon said unto Hanun, their lord, thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he hath sent comforters unto thee? Hath not David rather sent his servants unto thee to search the city and to spy it out and to overthrow it?" So they think that David is, on some malicious military intent. But really, David was sincere in trying to comfort, okay, a man that he considered to be an ally. Okay, and this is what he did, right? This is what he did. "Wherefore Hanun took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beards and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks. And it says, and sent them away." So what did he do? He shaved off half of their beards. So one side of their face had a beard on it, and the other side of their face was clean shaven. And that's what this Ammonite king did to the servants of David, which were Israelite men. Okay, so that's actually against the law. Okay, of course they were forced. So that was a humiliation ritual that this Ammonite king did. He humiliated the men of Israel by doing this. Okay, and what did King David do? It says, "Then they told it unto David, and he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed." So this guy over here, Bronson Bennett, said, "I just cut my beard off. Consider, brother." He's not ashamed that he just cut his beard off. You should be ashamed at that fact. You're supposed to have a beard on your face. The Lord said, if you love me, keep the commandments. Okay, right? The Lord said, if you love him, you're going to keep the commandments. And the Lord had a beard on his face. Okay, and we're going to get to what the Lord looked like in a minute. Okay, so it says, let's keep reading more comments. Well, this comment here from Stanza Boo, it says, "Your beard is like a plant. You got to take care of it and feed it the proper nutrients. I also stimulate it weekly." And that's actually good advice. You should be taking care of your beard. But again, we're not worried about, okay, the worldly aspect of looking in a certain way. That's kind of feminine. Okay, we don't really, of course you take care of yourself, right? You don't, just let yourself go. We exercise, we try to eat right. If you put some oil on your beard to try to, help stimulate growth, might get you a derma roll or something like that, but you don't go too far with it. All right. You don't become worldly with your appearance. Okay. That's what women do. Okay. Let's keep reading. Yeah, they're just telling him to wash his face if he has all that debris. But a lot of these comments are going into the fact that his beard is patchy. Okay. Steve DJ Versatile says, just cut the beard, bro. It's never that deep. Well, it is that deep because the law of the Lord states, do not cut your beard. Okay. So let's return to the scriptures. It says, when they told it unto David, he sent to meet them because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. So basically, they were so ashamed, and David said, don't even come back to Jerusalem. Don't even step foot in the city until what? Until your beards be grown. So because a beard is a sign of manly dignity. It is the sign of being a man. All right. When you shave off your beard, you look like a little boy. Okay. And some of these dudes look like straight up women with no beard on. Okay. You've seen some of these fucking shorts where men will shave off all their hair and put on makeup and they look just like a female. That's abomination. Okay. Yeah. So it says, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown. All right. So it was considered such a shame to cut off your beard that David wouldn't even allow you in the city to come back as a man. You had to wait till you had, you know how many months and weeks that would have took for them to grow their beards back properly. Okay. Until their beards be grown, then return. All right. So telling people to cut their beard off because you don't like the way that it's not lined up, you don't like that it's patchy or whatever. Hey, you're acting like a female. Let's get this. Romans 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai. Listen, don't be conformed to this world. Don't listen because Steve DJ Versatile is of this world. Okay. Steve DJ is of this world. He thinks that, cutting your beard is not that deep. That's what most of the world would say, right? So he's not transformed by the renewing of his mind because he probably doesn't even know the scriptures. He doesn't know the Lord, okay? And speaking of the Lord, Yahushai, let's get the prophecy and what the prophecy states Yahushai looked like. Isaiah 53 and 1, it says, who hath believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? Who is the arm of the Lord? The right arm is Yahushai. Okay, his power. Your arm represents your power. Okay, so the arm of the Lord, which is Yahweh, is Yahushai. So this prophecy is talking about Yahushai. Okay, it says, for he, Yahushai, shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. So this is talking about the physical appearance of Yahushai when he was walking on the earth under the Roman occupation. It says, there is no beauty that we should desire him. So he wasn't like an extravagantly handsome man, right? Now I'm not saying that he was a straight up, ugly, but it says he was just a regular dude. He didn't look very special. He looked kind of base. All right. It wasn't anything about Yahushai that you would look at him and say, oh yeah, this is the Messiah. This is the Mashiach, right? So this is why a lot of people had a hard time, okay, believing that he was, the Son of God, because he just looked regular, okay? And at the time, okay, the Israelites, Jews that were living in Judea, okay, they had beards on their faces, okay? Now, some of them, because of the Greek Hellenization and the living under Rome, you always had Israelites that would follow after the ways of the heathen. So you probably had some jakes that would go bald or shave their heads or shave their beards, still learning from that Egyptian captivity and the Greek captivity, because that was a big thing in the Greek captivity, I believe, was shaving of your head. Okay, so of course you had Jakes that were doing that. But again, it says he hath no form nor comeliness, which means he's not extremely good looking as a, like, you know, what you would think like as a handsome man. He just looks like a regular dude. Okay, now let's go back to this brother right here. Okay, this brother, you know, he's probably just a regular, you know, just a regular Jake. Okay, Yahushua would have been very similar. All right. So who's to say that Yahushua didn't have a patchy beard? And who's to say that these Jakes, right, that Chris Johnson, right, who's to say that these Jakes in these comments, right, wouldn't have told Yahushua that he needs to cut his beard off? If Yahushua was walking the earth today in the form that he had during the Roman occupation under the Roman Empire, these Jakes would probably all tell Yahushua the same thing. Okay, oh, you got a little patch in your beard. You got to cut that off. You ain't lined up. You ain't this. You ain't that. Okay, these are worldly Jakes. These Jakes are not of the spirit. All right. See, a man is not worried about his appearance to the world. Okay, and that's not to say you don't take care of yourself. It's just saying your focus shouldn't be on having the crispiest lineup. If your beard is patchy, making sure that, oh, I'm gonna focus so hard on my beard so it's not patchy. No, a man, we are focused on prophecy, man. We're focused on the collapse of this society and Jacob's trouble, which is about to hit. See, nobody's gonna be worried about getting a lineup. Nobody's gonna be worried about how patchy someone's beard is during Jacob's trouble, during the time of tribulation. And these Jakes, right? Chris Johnson and the rest of you, okay, you got your lineup, but you're gonna die with a nice full beard in a lineup. You'll be a dead rotting corpse with a lineup. Okay, so these Jakes, again, you gotta these Jakes, spiritually discerning, these are not of the elect unless they repent. Matthew 23:25. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye may clean the outside of the cup. The outer appearance is clean, right? The scribes and Pharisees, they love wearing the phylacteries and the fringes and the robes and you know, making sure that their appearance on the outside was of that of a high status. Okay, and that's what Jake is worried about in this world today. And of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Okay, those Pharisees back in the day, they were fucking rotten ass niggas, man. Okay, just like today, these niggas, these Jakes, okay, they're all full of rotten dead man's bones, I believe it says. Okay, this is worldly, it's vanity. Okay, it's folly, right? So that's a very basic video on, you know, we're not worried about our outer appearance. And no, we do not shave our beards because the Lord said not to shave your beard in Leviticus. All right. That's why. All right. So a very short video. Hopefully this was edifying. I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Rakah Kwadash. Shalom.